McNamara,
and me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
right here on WOCA, The Source.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
Diamonds in the sunset, now your time has come.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. The other day, not the other day, like maybe a year ago, Robin, we were down in Tampa somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And we were looking for a place to paint pictures. We were trying to raise money for the Marion County Literacy Council. I'm sure you remember that. And this young guy, he was an evangelical guy in Vagine. He was handing out little things to encourage people to find Christ. And he was Spanish, had a Spanish accent, and he said to us, "You know the Jesus?" And I said, "Yeah, I know the Jesus." I said, "Do you mean Luis the Jesus, or do you mean Jesus Christ? Which the Jesus do you mean?" Luis the Jesus is in the studio right now. I thought I'd use that joke.
Yes, he is.
It really isn't a joke. It was a true story.
Yeah.
Do you know the Jesus? Yes, I do. And then everybody said, "No, it's Luis de Jesus." And I said, "Okay, I'm not really sure. I don't know. How do you say your name?" Luis is such an amazing man. Pastor Luis de Jesus is in the studio. Correct me. Am I saying your name right? That's how you told me to say it, right?
Yes,
okay, thank you.
That's the correct.
And he is the pastor of the New Hope Church Assemblies of God. And anybody who's followed his story knows that this man has done some amazing things. And in spite of the fact that his own son was murdered, what a horrible, horrible story. And such a forgiving man, even for the murderer. And you're going to kind of update us on that story there. What else do I need to tell you? People know about God in My City Prayer Walk. They know about this. They know that this is people who say, I believe in God. I want to proclaim my belief in God. I want to do it simply. I'm going to wear a T-shirt that says so. And I'm going to get with other people who believe the same thing, and we're going to walk down the street.
Yes.
And everybody who's driving down the street is going to see lots and lots of people who believe that God belongs in our city.
Yes.
It is such a cool, simple, beautiful idea. I think that, is this the third year you've done this?
This is our third year.
Third year. So, Luis, good to see you. You've brought in one handsome young man and one beautiful young woman. Benny Suarez is the handsome young man. Good morning, Benny.
Good morning.
There you are. And Crystal Berrios.
Mm-hmm.
Do I roll the R's? Berrios?
Yeah.
How'd I do, huh?
Good.
I could be an honorary Hispanic, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for coming in today and for what you're doing. And the next God in My City Prayer Walk is happening when?
On May 3rd, this coming up Saturday.
This coming Saturday?
Yes.
And where are you doing it from?
We're doing it from Veterans Memorial Park to City Hall Citizen Circle.
Which is only, 2 miles?
It's 2.4 miles,
okay,
yes.
All right. And is it exactly the way I described it? It's simply a way to get out there and proclaim something that's so important to all of us who believe in God. My goodness, it's the one thing I often think, when I see like billboards and things that proclaim that if we would just turn to God, bring God back into the schools, etc., maybe we would be a little better off. It seems like such an obvious thing to anybody who believes in God, but there's this resistance to that, isn't there?
Oh, all the time there's a resistance to what we believe in. And
you look good, by the way. You lost weight or something?
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Trying my best. And maybe the walks are doing something for
once a year? I don't think so. I don't think one walk a year. Yeah.
But yes, we need God in our city, and that's something that we've proclaimed, and we do it as a silent prayer walk. We just wear our T-shirts and let everybody see the T-shirt, and everywhere we go with our T-shirts, they're like, "Oh my God, I love that T-shirt. I want one," and we're getting the message across.
We've seen them here, and now that we're at the mall, we see the hipper people over at the Cascades. There's a little bit of different group, but here we see young people wearing your shirts, and
yes,
so it's very, very encouraging. In fact, I think we saw the white with the black lettering, so that must have been last year's shirt, huh?
Yes, last year and the year before, and we had these. I think we had them last year, right?
Yeah, the black ones. Yeah,
we had them last year also, and now we have one with the map of Florida also. So,
how many cities have participated in this?
I believe there's around 24 cities already that have.
Really?
Yes.
Did you started it? No.
I went to the one in Jacksonville, and by seeing the impact that it had on our youth and the impact that it had in the city, I said, this is something that Ocala really needs. And, you know, Ocala is a safe place. Ocala, you know, the crime levels are down. You know, it's not like any other big city, but every city needs God, so.
Can we talk about your son a little bit?
Yes, why not? Yes.
Tell us who your son was or is.
Well, my son is Joey Rivera, and he was murdered after our first God Belongs in My City prayer walk. We had the God Belong in My City on August 25th, and the following week we left on vacation, my wife and I and my daughter, because we had worked so hard for this event. And on the following Saturday morning, which was Labor Day weekend, we were in a hotel. And my wife receives a call at 3 o'clock in the morning, and she starts screaming hilariously. And I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? She says, Joey got shot, and he's dead. And I'm like, just calm down. Let's find out what's going on. And she says, no, he's dead. He's dead. And sure enough, you know, I did the investigation. I started calling family members and friends, and he was murdered that night.
Where?
In Reading, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Reading, Pennsylvania. He had just left 3 weeks and a half before.
He was here?
Yes. He had left 3 weeks and a half before our God Belongs in My City prayer walk, and he didn't even know what Reading, Pennsylvania was until he left over there with family members. The reason why he left was because he couldn't find a job here in Ocala, and a friend of his real dad, I'm his stepfather, he found him a job. And when he found him a job, the person that found him the job was the one that had an issue with an 18-year-old kid and his girlfriend. And he got paid that week. My son got paid that week, went out with the person that found him the job, and they spread the car with, I think it was 19 bullets. 19 bullets, and my son was on the side of the passenger where the bullets came through.
My goodness, Luis, for you and your wife and your family, how horrible. I remember it was in the paper, and I think you have a community that prays.
Yes.
I know, because every time we have anything, we have all kinds of calls and email and whatever. So that was 2 years ago.
That was 2 years ago, Labor Day weekend, yes. That changed our lives completely.
And last year when you did... the God Belongs in My City, was there any sense of how do I say this? Like when I've been in a car accident, I hate to go back to that same place I had the car accident. You know, it's kind of a psychological thing. So did you have that same sense of, oh my goodness, I don't know if I want to do this again?
Well, yes. In the human self, of course, you know, it's just something, you know, there's a lot of questions, of course, to God.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that come with the death of somebody in your family. You know, there's a lot of, you know, hey, it's all your fault because you sent them over there. You know, there a lot of things in the family, you know, in the marriage and everything. And we just kept on praying and saying, God, you know, you're in control. You're in control of this. And God has been there. The mentors, you know, I don't even want to mention names, but pastors in this community that got together and helped us, and they were just there in our most needed time, you know, to give us a word of wisdom and counseling and all that stuff. So, you know, we had a lot of people after the prayer walk that they've gone through the same thing, or they've had a child that committed suicide or something like that. So, you know, we've had a lot of people that came up to us and said, hey, we've been through what you've been through.
Wow.
Yeah.
So such a hard world. Thank God there is a God.
Oh, yes.
That's a crazy thing to say, isn't there?
Yeah.
So before we get on to the happier stuff, what's the next thing? You're going. He's the guy who was the murderer is now going to be sentenced.
Yes, he was found guilty of first-degree murder and 5 other charges, and they gave him life without parole. And we did get to speak to the mother, and we did get to speak to his family in the courtroom, and we told him, you know, we forgive him, and the day of the sentencing is going to be May 16th, which we're going right after the God Belongs in My City this year. We're going to be leaving for a week, and we're going to be presenting him Jesus Christ as Savior. We got to tell him, you know, God is the only one that can change your life. Even in prison, you can be set free. So that's our biggest goal, to go to the sentencing and let him know that, you know, right now I have a youth pastor. His name is Juan Tito Ocasio. He has a boxing place here in Silver Spring Shores.
Do we know him? Has he been in here?
I don't know if he's been here, but he's awesome.
Tito the boxer sounds familiar.
Yeah, Tito Tiburon. Yeah,
Okay,
Tito the
maybe.
shark. Yeah,
Maybe.
But yeah, he has a great boxing facility, and he takes kids off the streets and he helps them. And he was facing life in prison, but somehow God made a way, and he's out, and he's been a blessing to our youth right now, and and this is the same thing we're going to present to him. We're going to forgive him. We believe in justice, of course. Justice is there because it has to be there, and we have to obey the laws. But I think God can make a way in his life.
Wow. Amazing story. You're an amazing man. You're an amazing family, really.
Thank you.
And our prayers continue for you and your family. All right. So God Belongs in Our City is Saturday.
Yes.
And so let me find out who Benny and Crystal are. Benny, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in, I was born in Puerto Rico.
I always wanted to go to Puerto Rico.
Oh, you need to go. You need to go.
I was brought to Massachusetts, where I was raised as a baby, and then we moved to New Jersey. And from there, we came here to Florida. And then my father lives in New York, so I traveled to New York and back every summer, and lived up there for a couple of months. Then came back, and then my senior high school is my last year.
Where'd you go? Where'd you go to school?
Westport.
Westport.
Yep, and.
And how'd you get involved with this program with Pastor DeJesus? You call him Pastor DeJesus?
No, I just call him Pastor.
Okay.
Well, I met the pastor about 6-7 years ago when we first moved here.
Oh wow!
And we were both going to a different church, and what's it called? We met him. He was an evangelist at that church, and then before that, he was pastoring, and I don't know. He came to us with an idea one day, and he's like, I'm opening my church again. So we're like, all right. So we've been with him since day one.
When you say we, you mean your family?
Yes.
Yeah, me and my family. We've been with him since day one.
Okay. And
struggles, ups, downs. We've been with him, supported him. I mean,
amen.
Ever since he came up with the idea, with the vision of God Belongs in My City here in Ocala, we've been me and my family and our youth. We've just been there. We just pushing, helping him, advertising, just doing the most we can.
So tell me the gift that God gave you.
The gift?
Yeah.
What do you mean by gift?
What are you talented at?
I play the drums.
Ah.
Yeah, and I preach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're a man of words and rhythm.
Yep.
Words and rhythm, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be on his business card.
Yeah, one day.
Words and rhythm. That's awesome. And Crystal, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
And who are you? Where did you grow up?
Well, I was born in Miami, but I grew up in West Palm. Then we lived all over West Palm, and then we came to Ocala. I've been here for like 10 years, I think. So my life isn't as exciting as his.
Are you in school right now?
Yeah, I'm a junior in Westport.
In Westport, okay. So you're also, are you, I don't mean to make you uncomfortable, are you boyfriend and girlfriend?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you are? Okay. Well, that's good. That's good that you found somebody, right?
Yeah.
That's always a good thing, isn't it?
You gotta see their prom
I
pictures.
think so.
Oh, you got cool prom pictures?
Yeah.
How'd you ask? How did you ask her? Or did she ask you?
Just see what, we weren't supposed to go because I don't know. I didn't go to my grad bash or nothing, and I'm a senior this year, but I don't know, out of nowhere, we just, everybody started talking about it. Oh, let's go to prom.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what, I want to go to prom. So I told her, I was like, so babe, I couldn't get the tickets.
You called her babe?
Yeah.
Were you dating yet?
Huh? Yeah, we've been dating for a year.
Oh, okay.
So no, I just, we were just sitting there, and I was like, hey babe, so I couldn't get the tickets for prom, they sold out. So she's like, oh man. So about 5 minutes later, she goes, we were in school, she was heating up her food for lunch. She walks back, and she sees 2 little pieces of paper on the desk. And she's like, oh my God, you got them. She's like, we're going.
Okay, that was nice.
That's so exciting.
That was a nice way of doing that. So, Crystal, what did God bless you with? What's your talent?
Well, I sing a little.
A little, no, she could sing really good.
She sings really good, doesn't
quiet,
she?
Yeah.
Do you sing?
She could sing really good.
Do you sing in church?
I don't yet.
Not yet. I don't know why. Now I know.
She can sing.
So who do you who's inspiring you with singing? What singer? Is there a singer out there that you like to?
Not really.
Not really?
I just.
Do you write?
No,
music?
I don't actually. But I love hearing people sing in the way, like, it gives me chills when like, and someone hits like a high note so good, it just gives me the chills. And like, I sing for, the glory of God, and I sing for myself. I don't like singing in front of people. I'm really shy about it.
Well, we got to change that, right, Benny? Benny,
exactly.
We're going to change that, right?
Yeah, of course.
So do you see yourselves in the ministry right now? I mean, you already are. Yeah. You're here. This is part of it, right?
I mean, yeah.
Luis, Pastor DeJesus, this is one of the easiest things to explain to people. If you want to do the God Belongs in My City walk, it's the simplest thing to explain. You just get a T-shirt and you walk.
That's it. It's very simple.
Well, there's a second step. You got to get a T-shirt, show up, and then walk.
Yes, and be willing to walk 2.4 miles.
Yeah, right.
And then once we get to the Citizen Circle, of course, we do proclamations over our city, over our families, over our schools, over our government. So we have declarations that we do in prayer together, and this year we're going to have shofars. We're going to sound the shofars. We're going to do our declaration, one worship song, and that's the order of everything. And usually we have Dennis Baxley, we have Stanley, we have the mayor involved also. So I hope that they come this year and they really support us.
When you're walking down the street, will you be singing a certain song, or will it be just a silent walk?
Most of the time it's different songs. Like, I mean, there's that group of people that they just stay quiet, and they just walk.
Radicals.
And then there's a group of Spanish people where we're just
with the rhythm.
Yeah, with the rhythm, and we're just singing and going along, and
yeah. But this year I hear that, some of them are going to bring some tambourines, and they're going to be walking with tambourines, some little flags and stuff like that, just to make it more joyful and not as a boring walk. It's never been boring, because every time we step on the sidewalk and we keep walking, we're praying and interceding for our city. But we just want to make it to grab the attention of the people, and every single year we want this to get bigger and bigger, because North Carolina has almost 7,000 people that go to this prayer walk. And I believe that with all the churches that we have here in Ocala, that we have a lot of them in Marion County, and a lot of them have 4,000 or 5,000 members. If we get together, the impact is going to be greater. It's going to be greater.
Yeah, so that's awesome. We do have a phone call, and if you have your headphones on, which you do, you should be able to hear the caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. Yeah, my name is Tito Casio. I'm the youth pastor in Hope Church, the Food Church.
Amen, Tito.
Well, good morning. Is that all you want to say?
I'm excited to hear my pastor on the line, on the air.
Oh, just excited. That's okay. All right.
Will you be participating in the walk on Saturday, sir?
Oh, for sure. I got to be there, yeah. And I believe every Christian should be there that day, unless they got to work, because we're representing God that day. And the Bible says, our army divided cannot win, but we united. We got power, and we could turn this city around.
Yeah, right.
Amen. That's right.
Yeah, that's good. Good for you.
This city is going downhill. And we got to bring God again to the schools, to the street, to the hospital, to the jail.
He does that all the time.
You do that? What?
Oh, yeah.
What's his name?
Tito.
This is Tito.
Yeah.
This is the boxer.
Yeah, that's the boxer.
Okay. All right.
He has an awesome ministry here in Ocala.
How do you say God belongs in my city in Spanish?
Dios pertenece en mi ciudad.
Okay. I'll never remember that. Dios. And ciudad I got.
Pertenece. En mi. Ciudad.
What does pertenece mean? Belongs?
Belongs, yes.
Pertenece. Dios. Pertenece.
En mi.
Ciudad.
Yes.
I might be able to remember that when you break it down like that. All right.
Pass the test.
Will there be vendors at the end? Will there be water, things like that to keep everybody comfortable in the heat?
Yes, we have the God Belongs in My City water at the beginning of the walk, and then after, in the middle of the walk, there's also a station, and there's going to be a medical station at the blood center, and then we have another station, a water station at the end of the prayer walk, and Mojo's Grill is going to have a vending truck there. That's the only vendor.
They are involved in everything, aren't they?
Yes, they are, and they're great. They got great food. I'm not advertising for them, but they're great.
They really are.
And will you be walking up Silver Springs Boulevard or Fort King Street?
Yes, we're going to be walking up Silver Springs Boulevard on the south side of the sidewalk. That's what we were told to do. Hopefully, it'll grow to a certain.
Wasn't it on both sides?
It used to be
First
on both
year.
sides. If it does become big as the first prayer walk, then we'll be walking on both sides.
Oh, okay,
Yes,
okay.
but it takes more police presence, of course, and they don't want nobody crossing the streets. But our goal is that one day we can do like the Christmas parade.
Gotcha,
That we
yeah.
close the whole street and have
Yeah.
people walking in one accord.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Tito. Thank you for calling in. Gracias.
My pleasure.
We love you, Tito.
I love it. I love it. Bye.
How do you reach the youth in your school to tell them about the God Belongs in My City prayer walk?
We mostly just hand out flyers and let them know about it. I mean, most of the time they see me in my shirt. A lot of people, I mean, I try to, because I have probably about 10, 15, even 20 shirts. And I try to wear them, you know, and it's like, people ask me, what is that? I'll let them know, you know, May 3rd, there's a prayer walk, or I'll just tell them, you know, God belongs in my city. And they just, you know,
Tomorrow.
tomorrow.
the
Yeah,
prayer-
and
the prayer at the
tomorrow
pole.
there's prayer at the pole.
Every Thursday.
Every
there's
Thursday
prayer at the
morning.
pole.
Oh, wow.
And,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'll be there to hand out flyers also. And what's it called? We just, mostly, literally, a lot of people are impacted just by the shirts.
Yeah.
I really,
Everywhere you go.
I really feel like the shirts, they just impact everything. We barely have to talk. You don't have to say anything. You just wear your shirt and people ask, and people see it, be like, "Wow, I like your shirt," or they just ask you, you know, "What is that?" Or what is it?
Right,
You know,
right,
and
right.
a lot of people have heard of it due to other cities, and they be like, "Wow, so it's here in Ocala." You know, it's a big thing. It really is.
And it's a wonderful thing. I mean,
Yeah,
it
it's
really
great.
does express something. Do you have in the past 2 years when you've done it? Have you had passers-by wave, blow their horn?
Oh, yes.
They're not in it, but they're showing their support of it.
Oh, yes. We've had testimonies of people that after the prayer walk, they'll call us and they said, wow, that was so amazing. We've had people literally stop in the middle of the street and have to pull over and start crying because they said, you know, there's bold Christians making a statement, you know, that we really need God in our city. We need God in our nation. When you see everything that's going on in this world, you know, we're getting further and further away from God, and we need to bring back God to our schools. We need to bring God back to our communities. And, you know, I was reading an article on the Billy Graham magazine last night, and is, you know, compromising the message. You know, we cannot compromise the message. We got to let people know the truth about God, and that God still loves us in the midst of the times that we're living, but you know, he still loves us. God.
And just to say something nice about our mayor, we have a wonderful mayor.
Oh, yes, we do.
And I'm not just kissing up to him. I mean,
No.
Robin and I have seen him at different religious functions,
Yep.
where he probably felt like maybe out of place. We saw him at a Jewish function. We saw him at a couple of different things where he was invited and he showed up, and it was just so wonderful that he was part of it. You know, God is the God of Jewish people as well as he is the God of
yes.
Christian people. And so have you had people from the Muslim faith, other faiths to join you? And
We really don't know because they just, you know, they everybody comes, you know. I say
there's only one God.
Yeah, and I say
right?
if you pray, and everybody does pray, I know that, you know, if you say, God, help me with this, you're praying. You know what I mean? So if you're going through a moment of trial and you say, oh, God, you're praying to God. So we have different denominations, Baptist, Anglican, Pentecostal, we have Methodist, Lutheran, and we're just inviting every community that prays. You need to be there. You need to be there.
We have one hope from our perspective is that this appearance on this show will help spread the word about what you're doing. And so that's one of the reasons why we tape it and put it on Facebook and YouTube. And please, listeners, remember that this will be on YouTube. Share it if you want to help spread the word about what these great folks are doing here.
Yes.
And of course, you guys can share it as well. I'm guessing there's a lot of. Are your services in Spanish when you do church?
We do bilingual services. Yeah, I preach in English, and my translator would translate in Spanish, or I'll preach in Spanish, and my translator would translate in English.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's cool that you can do that. I wish I could do that.
And it's very dynamic.
All I can do is Pig Latin. And Do you ever do Pig Latin in Spanish?
No.
No? That would be confusing, wouldn't it? Crystal Berrios, thank you for coming in. Benny Suarez, thank you for coming in.
No problem.
And Pastor Luis de Jesus, thank you so much for coming in.
Larry and Robin.
Our prayers with you. Have a safe trip up to Pennsylvania.
Yes.
You are awesome. You're an inspiration in more ways than you know.
Thank you very much.
We'll take a little break and we'll be right back. Fox News is coming up. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. We've just gotten disappointing numbers out on the GDP.
The economy grew just 0.1% in the first 3 months of the year. Not only is that below expectations, but it is a major decline from the 2.6% growth rate in the fourth quarter.
Fox Business Network's Maria Bartiromo. Hiring, though, may improve after the year's sluggish start, according to payroll processor ADP. Private employers added 200